use this to point that documents folder to somewhere else. Now, naturally, if you point it to somewhere else, you're not going to have files there, but it's smart enough to actually notice that and ask you if you want to move all your files there automatically. So this is something that all Vista users should make sure that they've got done, is move their documents to the server. And you can do the same thing with your pictures, your music, your videos, your favorites even, and so on. That way you can share favorites across multiple computers if you have them. You've got recent items like you're used to seeing. Computer, it's now called computer, not my computer. Network is what used to be the network neighborhood. And the control panel. A quick overview of the control panel for everyone. I've got it running in what's called classic view, which is where you can see all the icons. If we switch it back to the old control panel mode, you'll see that it now categorizes everything similar to the way XP did, but it makes it a little easier to navigate around. The XP class or new mode crunched things down a little bit. You didn't have as many options. So I'll switch back to classic view and we'll show some people what some of these new things are. You'll notice that you don't have a display anymore. Now in Windows Vista, you're going to get to all the display stuff under personalization. If I go in personalization, you'll see you've got a lot more stuff. It's kind of combined some things together, whereas before mouse pointers was its own thing, now it's under display. And then you've got your display settings where you can adjust your sizes, set up dual monitors, your screensaver like you're used to seeing. But Vista is also on the left-hand side of all the windows now, giving you more stuff. So you'll notice that I can change desktop icons. It used to be several clicks to do that in XP, but now when you're in the display settings, it's right up front. Same with adjusting font size, making things larger and smaller. It used to be many, many clicks into the display menus. And then you've also got shortcuts for other things in Vista that are kind of related, but aren't exactly to that type of thing. Like our start menu and taskbar options are in the display. You can navigate around the control panel just with back and forward buttons like you could with Internet Explorer now too, keeping that same familiar theme across all levels. And here's what the new arrow is. If everyone's used to being able to Alt-Tab, you can switch between programs quickly by just holding Alt and pressing Tab. With Windows Vista, you can actually hold the Windows key and do Tab. And that shows you this thing. This is called Arrow Flip. What it does is shows you all your programs in a cascaded 3D window view so you can actually get a better idea of what's behind them, not just seeing the title of the program. If you have this video playing as you're flipping through, it'll actually be playing in real time. Some of the other things that Arrow does give you are, it makes your menus transparent so you can kind of see what's behind there. Just polishes things up a bit. Do note that Windows Vista is the first operating system that actually needs a more than just a super low level graphics card to show all these menu effects. So if you want to be able to have the Arrow, nowadays any new computer is going to work just fine. If you have an older computer with just a basic video card that was built in, chances are it might not display properly. It'll act kind of slow. So that was the user interface. Now we want to talk about power management with Vista. Before with XP, if anyone was familiar with the power management settings, there were a couple. There were turn off your screen after so long. There were turn off your hard drives after so long. And then put your computer to standby or sleep after so long, and that's about it. You could enable hibernation if you have a laptop and you close the lid, it'll go into a hibernate mode. And what that is it kind of saves everything that you've got running to the hard drive, and when you boot up, it boots up quicker. That just eats up a little bit of hard drive space, but that's still in Vista as well. But I want to show the greatly expanded power options that you have in Vista now. So it by default comes with a couple different power themes, just like XP does. And I'm going to show you some of the details of these themes. You'll notice that for the most part, they're able to give you estimates of what the battery life versus performance is going to be on your computer. The key is for any kind of desktop system, you want to do whatever you can to make sure the performance is going to show 6 dots. That's how it has its indicator, and 6 is the highest performance settings while still getting the most what they call battery life. Obviously, workstations don't have a battery, but that means that they're going to use less power. Using less power, of course, means less electricity. So for the basics, you might say, well, gee, this is what XP has. This is what we just talked about. You can turn the display off. You can put the computer to sleep when you're on battery and plugged in, and that's about it, right? But if you go into advanced power settings, you're going to see a plethora of options here. Requiring a password on wake up, not a power saving setting, but it is something to do with power. Hard drives, this is how long you can tell to turn off the hard drive when you're on battery or plugged in. There's actually power saving modes now with your wireless. Turning on power saving is going to kind of temporarily put your wireless to sleep if it's not being used. So you might notice with this maximum power saving on for wireless that if you haven't been browsing the internet or doing anything on the network, there might be a couple second delay for when you get back to it. But it is going to substantially save power, especially on notebooks, because people with notebooks will attest that turning on the wireless usually makes your battery drain about twice as fast. Sleep. There's several different sleep options now. Sleep after so long. There's also something called a hybrid sleep, which is kind of a cross between a sleep and a hibernate. It just is that much quicker to shut down and that much quicker to start up. You can do USB suspend, and that's kind of similar to the wireless, where you'll turn the USB ports off when they're not being used. So all these little things you can do are just going to help save that much more power. Power buttons and lid actions. This is what you tell the computer to do when you press the power button, when you press the sleep button, because there is a sleep button now in the start menu on Vista, and when you close the lid of a laptop. PCI Express, what that is, that's like the slots in the computer that all the cards plugged into. You can do power saving on there as well. If you've got a modem and the modem's not being used, it's going to cut down the power to that slot. Again, further saving electricity and battery life. Now, processor power management. This is one where you're going to get a lot of benefit from. What this is you're telling your computer what you want the minimum amount of processor it's going to use when it's on battery or AC power, and what the maximum is. So you'll notice that I've got the processor minimum state where whatever I'm doing to 5%. When I'm not doing a lot, it's actually going to slow the processor down because I don't need a lot of processor power if I'm not doing a lot. For the maximum processor state, when I'm plugged in, I'll always set it to 100 because if you're really working, and you need that power. But since I'm on a laptop here, I'm telling it when I'm on battery never to use more than half the processor power. Just to give an idea of what all these power settings really equate to, and this will be the same thing for a workstation. On my laptop, with all the default Vista power setting, with the 2 batteries that I run, I usually run for about an hour and 40 minutes. Once I tune all these power options, without really losing much performance at all, now I can expect about 3.5 hours of battery life. So it more than doubled the battery life. On the other hand, it cut down the electricity I'm using to about half. So there are some other ones. You can have the search options, display options, different multimedia settings, if you're sharing files to allow it to go into sleep mode and things like that. So know that there's a lot more to these different things. And I'm running in one right now that's called Smart Power. What that is that's actually a power theme that we created. We just set the options that we felt were going to allow for the best performance and the best energy savings combination. And then we actually rolled that out to all of our computers all at once. Saves a lot of time from having to go around to each computer. So if that's something you're interested in, we can definitely touch base with us, and we'd be more than happy to help you out with that.